Elaboration Likelihood Model. I thought I'd record this video just to give you some real life examples, and certainly those were available to you, but I wanted to do this just myself. This particular example that I'm going to give you comes from the textbook that I use for a communication theory class that I teach. So I do not know this person, but let me share her story. So Rita is she's a little non-traditional age college student. She's returned to college because she wants to become a motivational speaker. She wants to influence people about a topic that has touched her life in such tragic ways. She lost her daughter 5 years ago when the driver of the car her daughter was riding in had been drinking and driving at a high rate of speed went into a wall. And then just 2 years ago, Rita was hit by a young adult driver who was texting and not paying attention, ran a red light, and hit Rita. In fact, you can even still see that Rita has a bit of a limp. So she wants to become an advocate. She wants to help to influence, to change the laws and change what society does in response to these situations that too often have such tragic, tragic outcomes. Rita thinks that any young person caught driving with a blood alcohol level above 0.02 or who are caught texting and driving should lose their driver's license until they're 21. Now, that's a pretty drastic step if you're an 18-year-old or a 17-year-old, 16-year-old even. So Rita's here learning about this theory. And what's the first thing she needs to know about? Well, she needs to really understand the motivation of her listener. What's motivating them? If she has a highly motivated audience or a highly motivated listener, they're going to elaborate more with the message. They're going to want to have more information. They're using that central route because they're going to scrutinize the message more. If she has a listener that's not highly motivated, it's like, oh, that's the dumbest idea I ever heard. All right, never mind. I don't care. I'm not even going to listen to you. They're going to elaborate less. They're going to use those peripheral routes, and they're going to use those mental shortcuts like, all right, do I like you or not? Maybe if I like you, I'll think about it. Okay, those kind of nothing to do with the topic at hand. So now let's imagine that Rita's out there talking to a group. If she has a highly motivated audience, she needs to use facts, figures, good logic to support her case. This audience wants good information. They're not going to be swayed by those emotional appeals or sad stories. They need to have good information. On the flip side, a low motivated audience, emotional appeals, maybe the story about her daughter, herself. Maybe it's a very smooth presentation. It's like, oh, she talks good. That would speak to her credibility. Build friendships with the audience. That doesn't mean that she shouldn't do that in that highly motivated audience. That's always a good strategy. But that highly motivated audience is not going to be swayed by just a personable speaker on stage, whereas a low motivated audience just might be. The low motivated doesn't want to be bothered with lots of information, so do not give them lots of information. Now, this is no easy task in front of Rita, right? This is a really hard topic, and it's particularly hard if she's sitting on a college campus trying to sell it to this audience. She has her work cut out for her. So she would need to think about who's my audience, what's their motivation level, and how do I adapt my message based on what I know about them. And that's why it's important to know a little bit about elaboration likelihood theory.